Hello and welcome to Living with the Landspeeder, where we StarWarsify Disney parks, one attraction at a time. I'm your host, Ryan, joined by my good pal, Katrin.
Heyo.
And my other good pal, Derek.
That's
How you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Great, we're back, and we have a special guest tonight. The Terry Weaver is here. He is the founder of the Thane Live, which is an awesome conference that...
Amazing.
Yeah, you got to check
My
out.
favorite.
We even got a special code for it that we can give out. Landspeeder as a code. We'll put it in the stuff later, but we'll talk about that with Terry.
And you get charged an extra 25%.
Yeah, it's the Ryan Street upcharge.
Yeah,
The tax.
got to be done.
Extra credits.
He's an author, a podcast host, an entrepreneur. He does it all. Terry, welcome to the show.
Well, I'm excited to be here. This should be somewhere between amazing and a delightful train wreck.
There we go. That's all we strive for.
Yeah.
And Terry, if it wasn't for you, this podcast probably wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, I feel like I'm slightly responsible for this nonsense.
Or irresponsible. Because I was a fan of I Am Geek, and I was at the thing Nashville 2022. And I got pulled into the hot seat up on the stage with Terry, and they're breaking down my life and breaking down the walls, which really was the start of my big change of career paths and moving, all these things. And Ryan was out there and had said something about his podcast. I was like, "What is it?" It's called I Am Geek. I'm like, "Oh, I love your podcast. You're him." So I fangirled over Ryan.
And I feel like you walked in with like James Arnold Taylor on your back, like a la like Luke with Yoda, the Yoda backpack, practically. Like that was how you showed up. That was how I met you.
I did.
So,
I did.
I just assume you always have a Jedi as an accessory.
Yeah,
that makes me feel even better because you had James Arnold Taylor with you, but me, you gush over me.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm on the dark side anyway, so it's fine. James is cool, but Darth Vader.
That's true. Well, Terry, welcome to the show. We're going to have fun tonight. For those listening or watching, or for Terry, if you don't know what we do, this is what we do. Yeah, we take a Disney attraction and then we StarWarsify it. So like for past episodes, like last episode, we took Toy Story Mania, but we made it a Star Wars ride. So what we do, or what I do anyways, you don't have to do it this way. I take the attraction the way it is, the way it's built. I don't level it. I don't destroy it. But I see what's there, and I figure out a way to make it Star Wars. So, Terry, if you want to level it, you can because you're the guest. But these other two, I'm holding them accountable. There's
Throw thermal detonator in there.
There's no backhoes. There's nothing. Take it. You run with it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Now, Terry said, I want to start because my idea is so fantastic.
No, I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it randomly, piece by piece. Well, first of all, you said we do this. Even in your intro, you're like, we do this one attraction at a time. Well, we've already determined we're doing at least 2 attractions.
Well, here's what I figured. If we did just Dumbo, because I forgot to mention, we're doing Storybook Circus tonight. If we did just Dumbo, this podcast would be 2 minutes long per person, probably. We'd be like, yeah, I got a thing you go spin around in, and then I'm done. So I figured let's take the area.
With that attitude, it is
because the whole area connects with each other. So if you like in Tomorrowland, the rides are completely different, but this is like a circus. You got the circus animals, you've got the big top. It's all circus themes. So we might as well just group it all together because it's a small little land.
I had no idea we were doing the other attraction, but I know just what I'm going to do, and it's really payback for all the jerk face Star Wars fans that were mean to George Lucas for all those years. This is I'm here for that karma tonight. So I'm here for I'm going to redeem that all of those years of suffering that he endured. I'm giving it back with the great Goofini tonight.
Ooh.
So I think if can I start? Can we just
jump in?
Don't go. We'll be here all night. I think the first thing you've got to talk about when you talk about circus, and maybe it's just because I'm a fat kid, is we've got to talk about the food. And it's the one thing that we really have omitted in all of our Star Wars-ification of the Disney parks. I remember back when Lynn Testa came on WDW Today, and we talked about this. We're like, surely before they build Galaxy's Edge, there's going to be all this food. And I've said since the very beginning of time, there is no reason for the porgs to be in a movie if we're not going to roast them and serve them a la Cornish hens.
Well, you just ruined my idea for the ride. So.
proper rubber feet as like turkey legs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Derek's ride this week is Porg Play Place.
No, could you imagine just walking around gnawing on a porg? You can even put the little like kids are crying because the porgs have been roasted. You walk in, Chewbacca's there working the spit, and you can get your roast porg.
It's like a turkey leg.
Like a turkey leg. I feel like it just sets the tone for the whole place. Before you do anything, before anything happens. Now, granted, guys, if you don't know this, my book is called Making Elephants Fly. So obviously, I chose Dumbo. I mean, you can tell over this shoulder, I've got a Dumbo big fig, not the little silly medium figs that they sell now, which I have that too, but that's an old school big fig. But I love Dumbo. I love the original movie. I actually love Tim Burton's remake. I think Tim Burton's remake actually probably would have a lot of more interesting things you could do to StarWarsify, but we'll stick to the original. Do I just keep going? What am I doing here?
Yeah,
so doing great.
Change that whole area to whatever
the whole area.
Yeah, whatever Terry wants it to be. Star Wars.
You know the coolest thing about that area, and I'm emotional. Are any of you guys emotional about Disney? Like oddly, like
of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like I shouldn't be crying as a grown man. The thing that got me the first time I saw the new Fantasyland, and I'll be honest, that might be the most disappointing thing that Disney ever did, was like they talked about this new Fantasyland expansion, and it was really just a fake Beauty and the Beast castle, and we moved the Dumbo ride, and there's supposed to be this really cool mine train roller coaster that rocks back and forth and moves like an inch. And so I was super bummed when I went through the preview of that. But the thing that got me the most was the sidewalk, like the walkthrough area where they had the peanuts mixed in with the concrete, and all the shoe prints. Obviously, you've got to put every creature from the Star Wars universe footprints in there.
Ooh.
And my question, I guess, for you guys is like, my first idea for this was you just put Dumbo and you put you leave Dumbo as he is, and you put like a Luke Skywalker helmet on him, and you, in fact, I had an artist do this for me as like a tribute during like one of those, one of those drawing months where everybody's supposed to draw something for a month. And somebody did like a tribute because they were in my mentorship program a long time ago, an artist named Sam. But she put the Luke Skywalker helmet on Dumbo and like gave him a feather. And so part of me says, let's just make it cute and turn Dumbo basically into a star speeder. And then part of me says, like, let's go crazy. Let's go out there. Let's go beyond. And so my crazier idea would be a tauntaun flying attraction.
Oh, Katrin's laughing.
Well, it's funny because we talked about that on I Am Geek, actually.
Yeah.
What? Then what?
My brother said that's what he would do.
Yeah, that you'd get into a warm tauntaun.
We were talking about
a lukewarm tauntaun.
Lukewarm.
Yeah, and maybe that would be perfect because it would keep your porg warm. Your porg wouldn't get cold during the attraction.
That's right. As you're going around.
And instead of a splash pad, it's got that thing in the new movie where Luke drinks the milk from it. It's shooting in the air.
The banthas.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're just going to keep the... Are we milking things now? This
is the last episode of
it's just
Landspeeder.
Max Rebo was obviously in play here, too. I mean,
don't worry, he's coming.
He's Max Rebo. And somehow for me, and you may argue with me, but I feel like I feel like there's a moment where all of the I know this may not be what's the stupid word that what's the nerd phrase when it's like official that something is canon.
Oh,
This might not be canon, but I feel like there was a moment in time, mainly because Lucas and Spielberg were involved, that Hooter from the Michael Jackson movie that was in the parks, that Hooter should be involved as a
Captain
tribute.
EO.
That he should make a stop. I've got a stuffed Hooter in the office somewhere. He actually sits in my stuff.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop.
Don't go hating on Hooter. One of the most underrated Disney theme park personalities. There should be a Hooter meet and greet.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Maybe that's what they could do with that Planet Hollywood you're going to that party at.
That's what they're gonna do for the Epcot 50th anniversary. After Figment goes away for the meet and greet, they're gonna bring in Hooter.
Bring back Hooter.
Yeah, for the meet and greet
Yeah.
under the Rainbow Tunnel.
Yeah. And so what is the official name of the other attraction in the land?
Goofy's Barnstormer.
Goofy's Barnstormer. Well, obviously, you don't have to do anything. You've already got everything you need there. Finally, give Jar Jar Binks all of his place, all of his glory. And it's Jar Jar's Barnstormer.
Yes.
Jar Jar storms the galaxy. It might be the perfect theme park attraction.
Just wait till you hear mine.
That is when you think about. See, now I'm one of these weirdos that thinks that that's a better roller coaster than the Mine Train, and so I think if you put Jar Jar on it, you've reached ultimate level of awesomeness. And he's talking to you and driving you nuts the whole time. Just so Star Wars fans, all of your listeners are going to hate me. They're
I love Jar Jar.
Star Wars fans. They're listening and weeping.
I love Jar Jar.
Here's the thing about Star Wars fans and Jar Jar. There was a point in time where it was cool to hate Jar Jar as a Star Wars fan. But now people love Jar Jar. There's not many Star Wars fans that hate Jar Jar. They grew, a lot of them they grew up with Jar Jar, and even the diehard original trilogy fans, they've grown to love Jar Jar. So Jar Jar has a special place in most of our hearts now.
Yeah. Derek has actually been editing some of my opening talk from the thing Orlando clips. And I actually had a kind of a Star Wars themed talk to open it up. And I said this, and it's actually in the clip that I'm going to put live on social, actually, probably tonight when we're done, is, whenever you kind of came into the Star Wars universe, that's kind of your Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like your kids are kind of coming in with Rey, or maybe they're coming in with Mando. But I remember watching Return of the Jedi in the theater. And so I'm an older dude, but I remember taking my little brother, who is 18 years younger than I am, and sitting him on the seats with a bucket of popcorn and him literally throwing all of the popcorn in the air when Jar Jar Binks came out on the screen, just freaking out, leaving the theater as like a 5 or 6 year old kid, talking like him, which, looking back was a painful moment in time. But, I got to see Jar Jar through kind of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this weird love for Jar Jar because it's what lit him up. It made him go nuts. And we've always had we used to go when he was 12, I started taking him to Star Wars weekends. And so which I think is the long lost Disney experience that we don't have, that were some of the best. That's when I first met James Arnold Taylor years and years ago. And so, those were special times and some of the favorite things of the Disney fandom. And so, that's I guess there's other stuff that we could probably go, and there's technically a water attraction.
You said the Great Goofini.
Huh?
You said you were going to do something with the Great Goofini.
Well, the Barnstormer. I think that's where he's going.
Well,
with it.
there's also
Well,
Pete's
yeah, there's
Silly Sideshow.
the meet and greet. I got stuff here. So
Well, the great Goofini is who's driving the Barnstormer, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, they sort of switched it where he's like
He's just the
it's
voice.
his ride.
Okay.
It's
I
his
didn't know
ride
if
now.
he
And then
had a
you can
meet
go
and greet
him.
or something.
because
too.
he has a
in
meet and
the
greet.
thing, yeah.
And then you can go.
He can't be
drive
in
his
both
ride.
places.
All right. A
I
lot
had
of
to
the
change mine
ideas,
up because
yeah, some of the ideas that you said are going to be in mine, but I do it a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead since we've mentioned Max Rebo. He's actually right behind me somewhere. There he is.
There's
Max.
that little blue buddy.
I love Max.
I said buddy, not bunny.
Do you know he actually plays that organ with his feet?
Mm.
Isn't that weird? The art for it work shows him playing with his feet. Anyways,
Everything about that scene, if we're all being honest with ourselves, is probably one of the strangest things that ever happened in film and cinema. Like, how high were they the day that they wrote that?
Have you seen the documentary where they're like going through a lot of that stuff? Like
No.
they were taking the figures home. You have to watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
But they were like taking the figures home. The wife's like, "You need to take this back. Like, don't bring this home anymore."
Leave.
all right.
All right.
Are we ready for my? And then we'll go to Katrin or Derek, whoever wants to go.
Yep.
lay
Not
it
really,
on us.
Here we go. This is my.
You're ready to go, so we're not going to be able to stop you.
I know. Well, I got to keep the show moving. You know, I got to keep it going, so Katrin doesn't have to edit out a bunch of stuff.
Bunch of spaces and curse
Yeah.
words.
Here
Milking.
we go. This is my me StarWarsifying the Storybook Circus Barnstormer Dumbo. Okay. After the events of Jabba's palace and the destruction of Garza's sanctuary.
Oh my gosh, is there a backstory?
Oh yeah, there's a backstory.
Scroll?
You've
You
obviously
get a scroll before this.
you've obviously never watched the show or listened to it because there's always a backstory with mine. And people love it.
Who has this kind of time on their hands?
Ryan.
I did this. I wrote
He's a
this.
genius, is what
I
he is.
wrote this in probably 5 or 10 minutes.
I chat GPT'd it a few times.
That's
Katrin and
how-
I were chat GPT so
Yeah.
back and forth. They were really good.
I'm telling you, my brain works in
Has anybody
mysterious
said
ways.
ChatGPT? Will you turn into?
Yeah, they
Have
did
you
it
done that today?
because they were like, "Hey, you have big stories. We got to have a story." Mine has a backstory.
All right.
Everybody knows.
Here we
Everybody knows.
go.
Okay, after the events of Jabba's palace and the destruction of Garza's sanctuary from the Book of Boba Fett, Max Rebo was tired of the dangerous life of a band for hire. So Max decided to hit the open road and start a new life for himself. On his journeys, he literally ran into a street performer that stumbled into him while juggling. Max and the down on his luck street performer named Jar Jar Binks quickly became friends and decided to go into business together, forming the Rebo and Binks Traveling Circus. The two main attractions of the
I feel
circus.
like this needs music at some point.
Oh, it
Do
probably
we
will.
have the budget
I
for?
mean, I can get it.
for a
I can get it
score?
going.
The two main attractions for this land are Max Rebo's flying red ball jet organs, because that's what he plays, the red ball jet organ. Take flight as you blast music from your personal red ball jet organ. So that's going to be
Nice.
Dumbo's. So you're going to be flying in your own little jet organ. And
Is
then
it interactive? This
yeah, you can. There's going to be levers. You can make the music
and
go.
keys maybe.
There's going to be keys. It's going to look just like his.
Nice.
Am I basically playing Max?
Yeah. So you're in. Max has given you your own personal jet organ to fly around like Dumbo. So this is going to be the Dumbo ride with the big. There's a big horn thing in the middle of it that blasts the music, and then the other attraction for their circus or this land is Jar Jar's Bombad Ski Beetle, which translates to superior ship in Gungan talk. Coaster. Jar Jar's Bombad Ski Beetle coaster, sponsored by Watto Spare Parts. Brave the twists and turns of Jar Jar's homemade roller coaster from junk parts from Watto's garage. Don't mind the extra parts laying around. I'm sure they're not important. After this, you may be hungry, right? So you're going to head over to the Big Top. Join Max Rebo and Jar Jar Binks for a musical variety dinner show. Listen to Max Rebo's new band, because most of his band died in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh.
As you dine on exotic cuisines from across the galaxy. So that is my version of
Amazing.
Storybook Circus, and that's how I do it.
Huh.
Oh, all right.
Maybe
I'm going to
he
go
should.
next because I was last the last time. So,
Okay, you go next.
so there's a pretty popular park in the Orlando area. And that park coincides with the store that's in Disney Springs. Anyone?
Go ahead.
There's a lot of stores.
There's yeah, but how many of them have their own park? And
Lego store?
Oh, I
they're
see.
Lego. So this
Yeah.
is the Star Wars Lego Adventure. And it takes pieces of the story from all of the Star Wars Lego specials that they have. And what's great about this, so the whole area is themed like Lego Star Wars, but then the characters are coming out in the Lego outfits. And then at holidays, they can decorate it and they can do the Lego Christmas special, all of this.
So good.
Yeah. And then when the kids walk in to Dumbo, or when anybody walks in, and you have the playground, now it's themed like Lego Dagobah.
Oh, cool.
And you've got like, tree stumps and the X-Wing sitting there, and there's fog and all of this cool stuff. And then you go and all of the Dumbos are switched out into Lego different speeders and different ships. So you have like a little X-Wing and a TIE
When your kids
fighter.
are waiting on the attraction, they can soak in a swamp. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty
A nice
much.
steamy, sticky swamp.
Yeah.
Sounds delightful.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you've got good snacks out there like frogs and porgs. So as you come out, then you go in the big tent would then be the big meet and greet for all of the different characters, all of that. But then you're also the cool thing about it is the jokes. That's why the Lego episodes are so good, because they're funny.
good.
They're hilarious. I really love them. You catch all kinds of adult humor in there that the kids don't get, and that's what you kind of get in there. So the Barnstormer ride now becomes the Millennium Falcon, zooming through. There you go, Legos.
Woohoo!
Very good. I was going to use Lego for another ride, and I was like, can we use Lego at this park? Since there's another Lego park. We can do whatever we want to do, I guess.
Yeah, well, there are no rules.
Money talks.
Well, Ryan,
Never
says that there's
never
rules.
tell me the odds.
I have my own
like
version.
about this.
I like it. I like because you kept it kid oriented, right?
Yeah.
In a way, Lego is anybody, but
Minus
Yeah,
the
but-
adult jokes. But
Yeah, well, but and they're not like dirty jokes. It's just
No,
like
but
the
they're
parents will understand. And
Right.
because my big thing is before they changed it to that, when it was like Mickey's Toontown or whatever it was,
Mhm.
that area meant so much to me as a kid. And I
Sure.
still have that VHS from the first time I went with my brother and my aunt and uncle. Like you would jump on the stars and the different characters would talk, and they had that Disney Playhouse show. It wasn't Disney Playhouse, but whatever. It had like Tailspin and DuckTales and Chip and Dale and all of these different shows into a stage show. It was awesome. I loved it so much. So that whole area, like, I go in there, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool, but it just reminds me of what used to be when I was a kid. So that's where I wanted to keep the Legos and keep the family and the kid aspect in
I
there.
like
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. All right, Katrin, what you
Yeah.
got?
All right, so mine is called Epic Galactic Showcase. I was trying to find a name that's like Storybook Circus, but I couldn't figure out a word that would work. But I went with Epic Galactic Showcase because I wanted to keep the theme similar. Okay, so I'm replacing parts of the rides to keep some of that same theme and make it StarWarsified. So one of the things we've always done is put in new characters into rides and made it into Star Wars. So I was like, well, what if, and this is kind of like what Terry was saying, like, why not put a helmet on Dumbo and make it, an X-Wing pilot or whatever, And I did something similar. So on the Goofy Barnstormer, I actually thought I was thinking it was Flight School earlier for some reason. So I was like, oh no. But anyways, I called it.
I think
Goofy.
that same attraction is Flight School at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Disneyland, it is, yes. But it's Goofy Vader's TIE Fighter Flight School. So you're learning how to fly a TIE Fighter. Yes, but it's Goofy Vader, and it's Darth Vader that's telling you, but in Goofy's voice, how to fly and
Boxers and all, man.
yeah. and you of course go through a similar kind of path, and wreck or whatever, land safely, but then we go over to the Goofy ride, the Dumbo ride, and this one is called Skyward Squadron. So this one's going to be a little bit different. So the theme of this one is X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. So you have two of the spinning carousels, and one of them you are going to be on the Rebel Alliance, and the other one you're going to be on the Imperial. So you got TIE Fighters. So they're going opposite directions. So it's like you're battling them, right? Because they're going toward each other. So in the queue, because we didn't talk too much about the queue, but this could resemble like a Rebel hangar and an Imperial base at the same time, right? You've got on one side it's Imperial hangar and the other side's Imperial base. So maybe there's part side. Choose your side, right? And maybe you've already been assigned it. So you get the card, which is your beeper that you normally get, right? And you maybe you go over to the X-Wing side and you're working on parts of X-Wings or other ships, and then there's TIE Fighters over there that you can work on, and then you board the ship that you're assigned to. And then maybe on the ship we've upgraded it a little bit. Maybe there's something that appears on a screen in front of you or projects somewhere or something like that, but makes it a little more interesting. But, and then we have Pete's Silly Sith Spectacular.
Oh, I love it.
It's not a tent though; it's a Sith temple, and we have Daisy, who is now Daisy Ventress. And I was trying to find another female Sith, but most of them I didn't really know, so most people wouldn't. So I went with Mini Rey. So this would be the Sith version of Rey Skywalker.
With Minnie.
With Minnie, yeah. And then we actually see Goofy Vader in here because Goofy's one of the characters in there. And then Donald Maul. So Donald Maul would look like Darth Maul, of course, with the horns coming out of his head and all that fun stuff.
I used to be a Star Wars weekend character.
Excellent.
Goofy was Vader, and then
I thought so.
Well, there's some of them played multiple characters. Goofy, the Big Figs kind of dictated it. Every year they normally did a series of Big Figs. I feel like I'm the old man telling the younglings about like back in my galaxy, kids.
I was there for all those. Stitch was Grievous.
Yep. But Darth Maul, Donald was amazing. Greg McCullough, who's a Disney artist, who's still with Disney, did a great Darth Maul piece of art with Donald. It was amazing. I miss the mashups the most from that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them right now on Google, and these are really cool.
Nice.
So it's Padme is Minnie, and Donald is Maul. Mickey is, of course, Luke, and Goofy is Jar Jar, and Stitch is Yoda.
Well, they kind of every year some of them kind of moved around. The Fab Five kind of stuck with what they normally had, but
it looks like this one's Series 2.
Yeah, they were great. Those were great weekends.
And we rounded off with Casey's. We'll keep it Casey's Splash and Soak Hanger. So instead of being whatever it was, and then you're repairing ships and droids, and they're squirting water out at you as you turn cranks and levers and all.
Droids getting baths and stuff,
yes.
Oil baths. Well.
Instead of it sparking out at you, it's shooting water.
Yeah.
I thought about doing Polly, what's her name, or whatever from Mandalorian. That works.
Yeah.
And it could be the little repair station or something like that. But,
that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I really like, especially the Pete. What did you name it?
Pete's Silly Sith Spectacular.
Love that so much.
That's great.
I knew you'd like that one, Derek.
Yeah,
I'd go there tomorrow.
I kind of feel like that's my next tattoo. Like I actually kind of, I don't know, might do it. What do you guys think?
You have space on your leg, just go on your leg.
Oh yeah,
because it's peg leg Pete.
Yeah.
Peg leg Pete. Sorry.
Yeah, Terry, let's talk a little bit about the thing too, because I know we touched on it at the beginning of the episode, but we always like to give people their platform. And again, if it wasn't for the thing and what you do, this podcast probably wouldn't have happened.
No, man, I love what I get to do with the thing. I love love the fact that that we create a space where people get to know each other and they start to come up with crazy ideas like this. This is an insane idea. But who doesn't want to actually go on living with a Landspeeder now?
I know.
Who doesn't want to turn Sci-Fi Dine-In into the George Lucas American Graffiti restaurant and have all of his movies playing in there?
Was that an idea?
That was one of my ideas.
One of the original.
So when it really started, it was how would we expand Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah.
And my idea was make all of Hollywood Studios Star Wars, and make all the different movie eras in different sections. And then that's when these two came up with the living with the Landspeeder. That's where it all came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is just a crazy event for people who have big ideas and have the audacity to make them real. And unfortunately, none of us will probably ever get to take over the reins of a Disney attraction. But that doesn't mean that we're not all building really cool things and doing really cool things. And that's really what the thing is a community of people who come together a couple times a year. We do a conference in Orlando, and that obviously has got some nice bonuses because we normally go to the parks a day as a VIP experience. And we kind of do, last year we actually hired a VIP guide. We'll do it a little differently this year. Every year we kind of do something a little on the different side just to make it fun. But every year we bring in great speakers. And funny, Ryan attended this event. And then I met Ryan's wife, and now she's a speaker. We've still not let Ryan speak yet. Ryan started a group at the very first thing, and I feel like that's kind of gone by the wayside, and I'm really sad about that.
Well, yeah, my kyber crystals, I'm Geek Shop on Etsy, by the way, for all your kyber crystal needs, really took off, and it's sort of taken over my time. And these Savi's lightsaber kyber crystals that I make have blown up, and I can barely keep up with orders because they keep coming in, which is cool. And I keep making ideas. And I mean, Ahsoka came out on Tuesday and I already have a crystal made from the show. So
I was really impressed with how fast, not only how fast you got that like ready, because I mean that's pretty impressive, but like how great and perfect it was too. And it's got my tattoo.
Yeah, it'll be out either this weekend or next week. But that's just I love creativity. I love using my creative brain, and everything that I've done, like kyber crystals. Who knows how to make those? I just figured it out. I figured out 3D modeling. I figured out all this stuff, and it just sort of took off, and I love it. And I'll maybe get back to the bathroom thing one day. But
what was the name of that group?
It's Bibbidi Bobbidi Poop.
Bibbidi Bobbidi.
Wait, what is this?
It's a group on Facebook called Bibbidi Bobbidi Poo.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. I made it. I just haven't had time. See, the thing is, I took a bunch of pictures when I was there one time, and I did a bunch of posts, but because I don't live near Disney, I ran out of pictures and bathroom stuff. So I was like, well, I don't have anything right now.
Now
maybe
you just repurpose everything.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother's got the shirt that said I pooped at Disney. Like it's his favorite shirt.
So maybe when I go to Disneyland,
dude, we totally have to create
some
Bibbidi Bobbidi Poo content when we're at Disneyland.
Yeah,
because there's a guy on TikTok that has a whole page about like the best bathrooms to poop at Disney.
Yeah.
I went to the opening of Galaxy's Edge. This will be a great segue with McNair and another Imagineer that's spoken at the thing. And that was back when there was no Rise of the Resistance. And we were kind of standing there going, what was the coolest part of this thing? Was the bathrooms. They nailed those. Now, granted, Louis Lemoyne, who was the other Imagineer, is the Imagineer that's known for like all the signs. And so like a lot of the signs on Main Street he's done and the really detailed ones. And they were both so angry that there was no real life bathroom sign. Like, I've got to go to the bathroom. A man needs to go. This is not the time to be artistic.
Yeah, at the beginning, they called them refreshers, and people were like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that where I get a drink?
The coolest
That's where I get the green milk, right?
Yeah, you get the green bell. The coolest thing about those bathrooms is
Yellow
that one of the stalls in the bathroom has an outlet. So if you need to charge your phone and poop at the same time, you can in Galaxy's Edge.
I'm telling you, you need
Some
to
others
bring
take
back
longer.
this group, and you need to bring back this poop group.
Poop group.
This idea is, I don't know what can we cuss on this? No, I'll leave it out.
It's definitely his number 2 achievement in life.
Ryan, I definitely want a backstory on the bathroom in Galaxy's Edge next episode.
All right.
No, I mean it. I mean that, not as a joke. Like I really want.
Oh, the backstories of the Galaxy's Edge bathrooms are pretty amazing. You could not that. Well, I have stomach problems, so I've sat in there a lot. And they have a radio program that is over the speakers, so it's like you're listening to radio. And there's DJs, and they tell stories, and they tell you there's advertisements for stuff going on in Batu, and there's there's all kinds of stuff.
I had no idea.
It's crazy. I'm full of worthless knowledge, pretty much. That's why I do podcasts.
You could be the Imagineer that does all the stuff that's like that's always there, that makes things. There's another great radio show at the gas station as you enter California Adventure.
Oh.
Like there's like a 20-minute, 30-minute loop of like old time, like 50s, like stories and like ads.
Yeah. Make sure when you go to the restroom or the refresher, if you want to call it that, at Galaxy's Edge, listen to what's going on the speakers. There was, I don't know if there still is, but there used to be a in-universe commercial for the Star Cruiser, I think, for the Halcyon.
Like before it existed.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the plan. I mean, the Star Cruiser was a plan for a long time before it was built. And they planned it into the area. So yeah, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, there was an advertisement for it on the speakers on the radio program. There's some other stuff. I think Gaia may have been on there. Like here's Gaia's news hit, who's from the Star Cruiser.
That's funny.
Yeah, the radio program that goes through Galaxy's Edge has a lot of cool Easter eggs in it.
I didn't know that.
Most people don't even realize.
See, that's why I think you need to push hard and become Imagineer.
I thought you were saying push hard to get
hard.
push hard to get Bibbidi Bobbidi back up.
Bibbidi boppity poo.
You caught it. I've been sitting on that one. He's talking, and I'm like, I mean, I love your stories, but I was like, I got the right joke. Got this joke. It's my shiny moment.
But if you want to create awesome ideas like Bibbidi Boppity Poo, if you want that kind of inspiration, that's what happens at the thing.
Yeah. There you go.
And how can you can get a code?
Like, Ryan created a group about poo. Derek changed his entire life trajectory.
Totally.
So you two can choose your path. It's just like you want the light side or the dark side of the Dumbo attraction.
Where do they go to find that info, Terry?
Orlando.com is the perfect place if you want to go to Orlando.
And
you can actually use the code
Landspeeder.
Landspeeder and save yourself a little money, get yourself some tickets. And Ryan might even let you sit at his table.
Man.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I didn't even let Derek sit at my table when I met him. So
I know, but we did sit together in Orlando, and then we were pretty much inseparable the whole week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you going to be in Orlando?
No. I'm not going to be in Orlando. I'm trying to work out a day, but it's going to be hard.
We're trying to get Derek to speak the first day of Orlando.
Yeah.
So
If he can't, and you need a speaker, catering's available.
I'm just going to have you read a backstory of the thing. I'll have you make one up.
All right, I can do that. Give me about 10 minutes.
StarWarsify.
I can
The thing. StarWarsify the thing. In a world.
In a world where random entrepreneurs decide to do work out of the galaxy.
In a world where entrepreneurs. Sorry, I just wanted to play with my toys.
Well, we're coming to the end of our hour here on Living with the Landspeeder, chapter 11. I've had a fun time. Terry, thank you for coming. If they want to find you on your socials, where can they find you?
Just my website is just terryweaver.com.
There we go.
I actually have my own podcast too called the Making Elephants Fly podcast. Just had Jesse Cole, the founder of the Savannah Bananas, on. Super fun episode.
Amazing.
And we have all kinds of cool people from business. And we've had lots of Disney Imagineers and animators on in the past.
Can you say who the next one's going to be?
Seth Godin is a future episode that's coming up. We got a lot of, and if you know who Seth Godin is, you're going, holy crap, that's so cool. And if you don't know who Seth Godin is, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. But we do have a pretty variety of people who do cool things in business and in life. And so that's just the Making Elephants Fly podcast. We're fine podcasters sold. People always say that about books, right? Like, you can get this books where you can get fine books. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I want my book to be the places where, you get this book where the books that nobody wants. That's where you find this book.
That's where you find this podcast.
Oh,
on the dark side of Apple iTunes or whatever.
I mean, it's doing well on the dark web, but
yeah, it is. But
but you can't trace it. So
anyway, Terry, thank you for coming. And thank you for watching and listening to Living with the Landspeeder. And check us out next week on I Am Geek. You can find that wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you need kyber crystals, I Am Geek shop at Etsy. Just Google that. It'll pop right up. I have some new ones in for Ahsoka and for Indiana Jones. If you like Indiana Jones and you like Star Wars, then I've got the kyber crystals for you. See you next time on Living with the Landspeeder.
Bye-bye.
What was that?